So I've been doing a lot of thinking about a lot of things. You know, a lot of people have told me to try journaling, try writing letters, try pretty much just writing down and then either throwing away or tearing up, burning, send the letter off to whoever it was that did whatever harm to me that I had wrote down about. I'm sure anyone watching this can say that, you've heard that at some point from someone. And now that I stop and think about it, like, you know, I've kind of been doing that, but with videos. And that has actually been surprisingly helpful to me. So, another thing that's kind of been on my mind, like, has been a thought of mine ever since I can remember, since early childhood, is that I've wanted for a very long time to be a spokesperson of sorts, or a motivational speaker, if you will. And I think that if I was to do that, I'm already doing it and just didn't really realize it and didn't really set up my channel for doing that, because I have a lot of experiences throughout life that apparently no one else ever experiences, like the way that I grew up, for one. Another is like being exposed to to electromagnetic fields, because apparently nobody else has ever experienced living, putting it in very, very simple terms, living in a microwave. No one else has ever experienced that. Like, I talk to a lot of people in different ways, whether it be in person, on Facebook, on social media, and whatnot. Nobody else has ever experienced that. So, like, why the fuck am I the only one to ever experience things like I do? Well, I guess the answer is pretty irrelevant. But I'm just gonna start doing things kind of like I've been doing and just see what happens. On the topic of EMF, though, I know that copper is a great thing to be helpful for recovering from a lot of health problems. So I went outside and found a piece of wire, like house wiring, just laying on the ground, and I made a bracelet, which, I mean, I know you can't really see it that well on video, but I've been wearing it. I made it myself, just used a pair of pliers and just a vise, because my dad has a vise and, well, Sam's got tools. So yeah, I'm going to attempt to find some more wire and maybe make myself like a whole arm wrap. I'm not sure yet. Um, Also on that topic, yesterday I went to therapy, and I've been doing a lot of self-experimentation with figuring out what affects me in what ways. Especially now that I am very, very susceptible, I guess. I have a very, very high, like, severe case, essentially, of EHS, which I have mentioned before. It's electromagnetic hypersensitivity. That's the thing. Oh boy, is it ever. Oh man. And yesterday, to try to make this sound a bit more clear, since moving into the house, yeah, yes, I have been doing a lot better. But there is still things that, like, have been confusing to me, of like, why am I still having certain things happen and still having new weird, unexplainable things coming up. Like yesterday, I noticed my left foot is like the whole like left foot and up to my knee was numb. And still, like right now, the bottom of my foot feels a little bit numb, not nearly as bad as it was yesterday, but I noticed while I was in therapy that while I was in there talking to him, he asked me something and I was answering, and in the middle of what I was saying, or whichever one of us was talking, I ended up interrupting, which I feel bad for, because I'm like, God damn it! Like, I got this bad pain, like the pains that I had mentioned quite a while back. The fact it feels like I'm getting hit in the head with a freaking hammer in the side of the head, and it almost always happens on the right side, and then I hear that white noise. That hasn't happened in quite a while now, until yesterday when I was in therapy. So we both just stopped talking so that I could kind of regroup myself. And I said, I'm really sorry, but I don't really know how to word this other than like, what's the Wi-Fi like in this building? I mean, it's a pretty big building that I was in. And yeah, that whole building is riddled with Wi-Fi. I mean, yeah, in today's society, you almost can't get away from Wi-Fi. So I got confirmation, pretty much hard, solid proof confirmation that Wi-Fi is definitely affecting me. Which we have Wi-Fi in the house, and I have been kind of testing theories here in the house of like how far our house Wi-Fi range affects me. So we have both of our Xboxes plugged into hard lines now to avoid, making it more like an extension of the Wi-Fi. I don't have my phone on Wi-Fi like ever anymore. I turn it on airplane mode at night. Sam does the same thing. And the more that I'm kind of self-experimenting with, which I don't really have a choice but to do, is answering a lot of my questions. So, like, yes, Wi-Fi is definitely affecting me. And I can tell, like, even in the house here, it is affecting me because, like, on the left side over here, whenever I talk, it's not so bad today, but the last couple days I've noticed that when I can hear myself speaking, it sounds different on the left side. And don't really have an explanation for why, other than, well, maybe that's the Wi-Fi affecting me. So here pretty soon I'm gonna be talking to a big brother of mine here that might be able to just hardline everything and maybe at least just test out for I don't know how long. Just see how long, if we can turn Wi-Fi off, have everything hardlined, and not have Wi-Fi on, and see if that makes any kind of changes, then that would definitely be a help if I can find an answer. Day before yesterday, when I was working on this bracelet, I was out in Sam's shop, which his shop is the one that is the closest to that substation on the other end of the trailer. Mine is on the front side. So going out to mine, I have to be careful with because I'm already getting too close to that substation that it starts affecting me. And day before yesterday, I spent like a total of like maybe 5 minutes, if that long, out in Sam's shop and in that area trying to find tools that I needed to work on my bracelet, and talking to Kev a little bit. And just for like the 5 minutes or so that I was out there put all together, I was starting to feel I don't really know how to word it other than I started to feel sick again. like, I started feeling nauseous. I couldn't hardly eat anything for the rest of the day because, I mean, this was in the later afternoon, early evening. So for like the rest of the night, I ended up eating a bowl of chicken noodle soup to help calm my stomach because I was getting nauseous. And my head was feeling weird. And then the next day, yesterday, going to therapy, and that affecting me the way that it did, and the fact that I'm having numbness in my leg and my foot is just all the more confirmation that, okay, so I have to really, really limit my time if I ever go out there towards our shops, and pretty much just avoid it if possible, like altogether. And now I'm figuring out that, well, microwaves I have to stay a pretty safe distance away from. Wi-Fi routers, pretty much the same thing, because the stronger the Wi-Fi signal, the more it affects me. So that's all new stuff for me to keep track of. And also, last night I was talking to Sam about, I was upset. Not at him, but just upset with my health. Like the fact that there is so many factors that are kind of more or less working against me. Like the fact that I don't really have a life right now. I am stuck pretty much in this bedroom that you see in the background here. And I go out for a walk almost every day if I can, if I'm physically feeling up to it. And I'm so tired of, I haven't had a job, I haven't had any means of any income for quite some time now of my own. I'm tired of just being stuck. It's too cold outside for me to go anywhere. I mean, I can't. My legs and my back are still recovering from the EMF. And I'm still not in a physical condition to be able to go, like, say, walk around town for the day while Sam is at work. So, between my physical condition and the fact that my body doesn't do good with cold. It's been like that all my life. Of course, I can dress warm, but still, then there's still the factor of, like, well, I can't really carry myself to walk, all around town all day long. And, well, as far as, like, driving goes, I am getting closer. Not as close as I thought, but I am getting closer to being mentally able to drive again. Because I haven't driven since September. And I made the conscious decision for myself to stop driving because where I was at and where I was going as rapidly as I was not a safe, it was just not a good idea for me to be behind the wheel. I did not want to put myself, or especially anyone else's life, in danger or in potential danger just because the fact that I knew that I shouldn't be driving. My reaction time, everything about my mental and cognitive abilities at the time, it was just not good for me to drive. So I decided to stop. Currently, my car needs a new radiator, which we got the radiator, but because of how the lines are and everything in it, we got to get new trans fluids. So we're gonna do that this weekend. Got to put insurance on it. We decided to stop insurance on the car because, well, I mean, if it's not being used, I'm not driving, why pay the money on it? So my car's been sitting for quite a while. It needs a little bit of TLC now. We got to put some insurance on it, which we'll be working on over the weekend. And then I can start to drive. But still, I would like to be able to find some place or find some way of making some kind of money in some form, if that's even possible. So that's kind of my upcoming plans of what I would like to try to do, at least. I don't know how well I'll be able to hold down a job because I'm still recovering. I mean, I can still tell that I am still being affected, and I'm not out of the woodworks yet. I'm a lot closer than I was, but I'm not completely out of the woods yet. And I got to, when I was talking to Sam last night, I told him, I said, I just don't feel like it's fair to you if I just dump all of my problems only onto you. That's why I joined the groups on Facebook that I have, like anger management. Even though I don't have anger problems, I have other emotion management problems, and I am all about self-help. I love to be able to help myself in every way that I can. So I'm joining different groups of different kinds to try to help myself with these different areas that I can do more to help myself than a therapist would be able to do. So I'm working on that. Working on trying to get myself into better health, trying to do everything that I can to help myself in every possible way. Last night when we were talking, I told him that I said, I'm sorry that I seem so upset so much of the time. I'm just so tired of being so restricted on what I can and cannot do. So he's doing everything he can to try to help me out. Of course, where I let him in on what, hey, this is where I need help with what. So he does what he can, and I really appreciate that a lot. And I told him in the discussion, I said, that's why, like, if we're on my Xbox flipping through videos on YouTube and you see stuff on, like, depression, anxiety, PTSD, these other weird videos that, like, I don't even click on when you're watching with me, because this is stuff that I use as, like, information to help myself learn, like, while you're at work. So I stumbled across a video today that something about, like, figuring out learning how to figure out what you can do with your life, with your like, career wise, with your interests, with your strong suits, basically figuring out where you have strong suits in what areas. And then it got to a portion of it was interpersonal. I'm like, okay, this is kind of intriguing. So I started listening even closer and watching. And so interpersonal is more for, like, the people that are very, very self-aware, that like to work on themselves, that like to better themselves. And a good, in the video it was mentioned that a very good profession, more or less, for people that's kind of their strong suit, is to be a motivational or spokesperson. Which, well, hey, ever since, like, my early childhood, I've been wanting to do that. I didn't think that could be a job. I mean, I know that it won't here, because, I mean, in Oregon, there's fucking nothing here. So I know I had already mentioned it, but I'm going to be making some changes to my channel and probably making some new playlists. There might be a lot of videos or playlists of mine that will disappear and might just be, just so that I can see it, because I do use my own videos to help myself a lot. So there could be some upcoming changes if there is anyone out there that keeps up with me as much as I do. So that's something I want to try out. I want to try something new. I want to try something new and different. That would be something new and different. And then, I mean, I'm already kind of, sitting here. I know it sounds bad, but sort of lifeless. I mean, the fact that I don't have a job and I am very physically restricted on what I can and cannot do. So I might start making videos on, I have a lot of experiences in life that apparently no one else does. Because of those experiences, I have a lot of thoughts and ideas and stuff that for a very long time, I have actually wanted to be able to share with people, and just, I don't know how. So, whether or not that actually turns into something, I don't know. But everything and everyone has to start somewhere, right? So, I'm really thinking about it. I'm putting a lot of thought into it. And it might be something that fits me, my personality, my abilities, you know. So we'll see what happens.